Welcome to the Gals Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where a group of gals gather for you one cool thing around our topic of the month. Is it ancient history? Is it breaking news? Is it safe for work? Well, that's up to each gal. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Katie, and I'm joined by Bonnie and Barb and Leah, talking about our one cool Asian gals. Barb already talked about Junko Tabe, but before we dive back in and before I share my lady with you, let's find out what's going on in the Gals Guide calendar for this week.
I'm not Leah. And on Wednesday, May 17th, the Writers Galaxy will meet at the Gals Guide Library online at 4:30 p.m. If you're a writer, author, or interested in being one, register Writers Galaxy at galsguide.org. On Thursday, May 18th, Film Club meets to talk about Spirited Away. I haven't seen that yet. That's a good excuse.
Yes.
We have in-person and online options to talk about this magical film. Register at galsguide.org. We have two events on Saturday, May 20th. First Terra Circle begins its new book study. Learn about Green Terra and its wonderful online Sangha?
Oh, Sangha.
Sangha.
Yeah, there you go.
That is open to all who are interested in or students of Buddhism. Register for Terra Circle at galsguide.org. Then from 2 to 4 p.m., Hannah and Robert Williamson are back in the library. Our very first book signing peeps are back with a new book.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. The father-daughter duo is back with their new young adult fantasy book that continues the Caledonian Chronicles with book 3, The Wolf, the Thief, and the Scoundrel. Come get your signed copy. For these and all of our amazing events, check out galsguide.org.
Thanks, Bonnie. Now I'm going to really put you guys on the spot because I definitely didn't tell you this question ahead of time and let you study.
Why can't the magic just happen?
It just happens. It does. Nobody out there knows
You have a
differently.
rando question.
I
Is that
do
what you're
have a
saying?
rando question for you
Definitely.
guys.
Wow.
So
Exciting.
I feel like it has been a really, really awesome time in movies and TV for Asian actors and actresses.
Mm-hmm.
We just had, what was that, the Oscars, where everything, everywhere, all at once, like took home all the awards. So I want to know who or what where, when. I want to know you guys' favorite film or TV with an Asian woman in the lead role. Bonnie, go.
I can mine's not, I'm not really sure mine's like the main role.
Okay,
It's
that's
definitely
okay.
one of the main characters. Now I'm going to try to remember what her name is because I need to catch up. I really love Alex Bornstein and
Yes.
Mrs. Maisel. She plays her manager, I guess is what she is.
Her hype
She's-
woman, right?
Yeah, she is amazing. And I love that she like constantly gets confused for like a little man all the time. But I love her. She gave a little speech when she was getting an award at one point talking about her grandmother in the Holocaust. She said, "My grandmother was in line to be shot into the pit. She said, 'What happens if I step out of line?' And he said, 'I don't have the heart to shoot you, but somebody will.' And she stepped out of line. And for that, I am here, and my children are here, so step out of line, ladies, step out of line."
I love it. Love it.
Nice.
Success.
Ta-da!
That's
No, she's
awesome,
great.
Bonnie. Who do you have first, Barb?
So, I love
what
Aquafina.
films?
Yes!
So, and actually, I liked her in Crazy Rich Asians.
Mhm.
Okay.
She's just hysterical, but she's also been in like Jumanji and
Mhm.
Ocean's 8.
Nice.
And just recently, hubby and I watched Shang-Chi,
Shang-Chi!
and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yes!
So
That's a
that
really
was
good one.
it was really good.
Mhm.
And I hadn't heard a lot about it ahead of time, and we got into it, and we didn't even know she was going to be in it, and we're like, okay, she too is badass.
It's
so
a
I love her.
winner.
It was a winner. It was a winner. I like all of her stuff. So
Yes.
so all of those
Absolutely.
were good. Yeah.
We're giving everybody out there listening some really prime TV movie
That's
ideas.
exactly right. That's
Mhm.
For
exactly
sure.
right. Add those to your
Your cue.
Your list.
Mhm.
Oh, I like how cool you said that because I was gonna be like your wish list.
It's called a cue.
I
I
almost-
learned one
yes.
thing from the
Isn't
British.
the UK.
Add it to your viewing list.
I was gonna call out of like a proper noun
Your watch
for
list, your
like
Yeah.
favorites.
Netflix. I'm like, I probably shouldn't do that. So then I struggled, and then you jumped in with Q. So
Can save the
Thank
day.
goodness.
Well, I have 2 more to add for your queue.
Yeah.
To your queue.
Yeah.
Put it for your on your queue.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely, I recommend everybody watch Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
I literally wrote that down because for some reason that's a very confusing title.
Yes.
It really is.
Mhm.
It
But
really
it's
is.
so amazing. So amazing.
I've heard such good things.
Um,
I'll put it on my queue.
It's
do
worth
it.
one.
It's on my queue.
Mhm.
Actually.
And then I definitely 100% recommend everybody watch Beef that
Yeah.
stars Ali Wong.
Okay.
She does incredible. And I mean,
She's
like
really
you know
funny.
Ali
Yeah.
Wong as
Mhm.
a stand-up comic, and
Mhm.
you
Right.
kind of expect something kind of maybe goofy about it, but it's very dark humor. But it's so good, and she's just spectacular in it.
Sweet.
So I highly recommend that. I think it's only like 8 episodes,
Oh, okay.
about an hour long each, but it's
Okay.
so good.
Add that. Add
So-
that to the queue.
All right, everybody making a list, and Leah's here making show notes for everybody, so you'll
Sweet.
be able.
Oh, perfect.
I'll put
Define.
trailers up.
Oh my gosh!
Mhm.
Look at you.
I know, right?
Helping our viewers out. All right, well, I am going to help all of our viewers out.
Yes.
Our viewers, there's nothing to view. Our listeners,
Those ones
That's
too.
a very good point.
Hmm.
I'd be out of here if you were viewing me right now. I'm
I think we
literally in
covered
my
that earlier.
sweatpants and I've been picking my face zits all day. Just go ahead and view that in your mind.
My
if
face
you
is
know
all
me.
sideways, so there's no way.
It's still cuter than the zit I got going on over here.
You put some Windex on it.
On my zit or on
Yeah.
your face?
On the
Both.
For
Both.
so my big fat Greek wedding, he puts Windex for like rashes, pimples, like one
Everything.
place soaking his elbow in Windex, like.
I probably need some for my feet. It's about sandal season, y'all. But I'm helping our listeners out because in probably just a few months, they may see a new quarter with maybe a face that they don't recognize on it. And I want to put a name and a history to that face when you see it.
I think we also just started an
Lovely.
acapella group. Did y'all hear that?
That's very nice.
I liked it. I liked it.
The harmony.
Gorge.
So our listeners may know that the Mint is doing a series of women. So I think it's like 5 women each year they're picking to
Yeah.
put on coins, quarters. And for 2024, which, I don't know why everything has to be screwed up all the time, everywhere, all at once.
See what you did there.
Because it's a 2024 coin, but it's coming out mid-2023.
It's like
Yeah.
cars that come out early.
Yeah.
Right. And this
Model year
coin-
rollover.
This coin is going to feature Patsy Takemoto Mink.
Nice.
And if you haven't heard that name yet, you're going to be so blown away by this woman. We just heard about Barb's woman who was a fighter and stepped out of line, followed her passion. Patsy had dreams and a passion since she was very young and was told no, all down the row. And after hearing no so many times, she decided she had to change the rules so other women didn't have to hear no.
Love it.
So that's the kind of badass we're dealing with here. So Patsy Takemoto was born on December 6, 1927, near Maui. There she is.
Very
Isn't
nice.
she the
Oh, she's
cutest?
so proper.
Adorable.
She's
Mhm.
proper.
That's also so 80s.
Yeah, it is. There's shoulder pads in there.
I love it. They're coming back. You know
No.
that, right? They're
No.
coming back.
There's I gotta-
Shoulder pads and PBR. That's what's coming back.
I'm okay with one of those things.
I mean, I'll do both.
Right.
Yeah, if you got tired, you could rest your little head on my shoulder
Oh.
pad.
Okay, I'll do it for that.
Okay. I'll just wear them. So she was born actually on a sugar plantation camp in Maui.
Oh.
She was a 3rd generation Japanese American woman. And her mother was a homemaker. Her grandparents came over and worked on the sugar plantation and yearned for more and actually kind of like broke their contract with the sugar plantation and skipped out of there. So she really comes from a long line of people that stand up for what's right, because they got out of there because the working conditions were so poor. They did eventually find work in a different sugar plantation. But anyway, her father became an engineer.
Ah.
So they're definitely like a family of hard workers, people
Achievers.
that achievers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. He was actually a civil engineer. So even when she was younger, she was born in 1927. So it's not like probably the message she was getting from the world was you're going to go to college and be a professional and all of that. But from a very young age, she wanted to be a doctor.
Oh.
Yes. And so she actually, so when I'm going to talk about her high school years first. But know that she has this in her mind that she wants to achieve this high level of success and become a doctor. So when she went to high school in Maui High School, I want to get this right because I feel like I really want to set up the context for you. So when she entered high school, it was just 1 year before Honolulu was attacked by Japan, right? When World War II, when we entered World War II. So despite the fact that local Japanese were being treated as enemies, Patsy ran for and won her first election to become student body president in her senior year.
Oh, wow.
And she was the first girl to serve as president of the student body. She also graduated as class valedictorian in 1944.
Nice.
So that's like she's kept her eye on that prize of becoming a doctor and worked her butt off to achieve, academic success.
And people liked her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was,
Yeah,
charismatic.
that's a good point. That's a very good point. It's a balance. She's got it all going on.
Absolutely. So she started college in Hawaii. And was unsatisfied with school there, so she eventually transferred to the University of Nebraska.
Oh, okay. So she went from Hawaii to Nebraska?
This is what she did, yes.
Yeah. I thought she was smart.
Right in the middle there.
Well, I'm even skipping over some. She did a lot when she was in Hawaii. Then she actually went to Pennsylvania.
Also cold.
Same question.
Cold. Cold.
Yeah.
I only highlighted some points. I skipped around a little. I don't know if she was unsatisfied with school in Hawaii, but for some reason she went from Hawaii to Pennsylvania.
All right.
Pennsylvania was unsatisfactory.
Oh.
So she went to Nebraska.
All right.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the chocolate.
Hershey.
But the University of Nebraska, when she got there, she found out that the university had a long-standing racial segregation policy where students of color lived in different dormitories than white students. So
Not good.
this angered
Not
Patsy, and she organized and created a coalition of students, parents, administrators, employees, alumni, sponsoring businesses and corporations to protest this rule.
Yes!
Love it.
She wrote, you can find online some of her writings in like the school newspaper where she was like calling all these people out, and she's so eloquent and so forceful, but it's like so posed too.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Nice.
So she was able to successfully lobby to end the university's segregation policies that year.
Ah,
Love it.
Sweet.
However, immediately after that, she became sick and had to go back home to Hawaii. So she had a serious thyroid condition that required surgery. So she moved back home, and then she finished her degree at the University of Hawaii, where she earned, in 1948, a bachelor's degree of zoology and chemistry.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
She began applying to medical schools, but none of the dozens of schools which she applied to would accept her because she is a woman. And it was especially bad since this was also the end of World War II and men were coming back from war and being given most of these spots to, jumpstart their education.
They had
and
the GI
career.
Bill so that they were,
So after being rejected from all these law schools, she decided that she would apply for law school because she wanted to do something to change the law to make it so other women wouldn't be rejected from being able to follow their dreams. So she applied for a couple different law schools and was accepted at the University of Chicago Law School. She's back in the cold.
Also cold.
Wow.
Yes.
Right.
Windy.
It's just getting worse.
Lake effect. Lake
She's gonna
effect
be on the
snow.
fair next.
Yeah. Mhm.
So she was actually only one of 2 women in her law school class,
Wow.
which I think was super common at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But she really excelled there, and excelled academically, socially, all of that. And she met her husband, John Mink, who was there getting a degree in geology. And she actually married him against her parents' wishes just 6 months after meeting him
Oh.
in 1951.
Scandalous.
So were they opposed just because she hadn't known him very long, or were there other?
It doesn't say, and I'm not sure. Part
It's
of it
only
might
6
have been
months.
also
6
because he
Yeah.
was white. I mean, there's nothing
Scandal!
that says that,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
know she
Yeah.
she faced a lot of backlash over her interracial marriage because this was 1951.
Yeah.
True. Good point.
So they both graduated,
Mhm.
and she immediately started applying to law firms to get work and was again rejected.
Yeah.
And also during this time of applying and trying to find work, she gave birth in 1952 to her daughter Gwendolyn, who goes by Wendy. And because she was a woman and a woman with a child, she was not offered a job at any law firm
Yeah.
or anywhere. It was at that time, since she couldn't find work, that they decided to move the family back to Hawaii. And when she arrived in Hawaii, her father helped her start her own law practice.
Nice.
And she
Nice.
specialized in representing women, especially in like family cases, like divorces, separations, that kind of stuff, which were cases that a lot of law firms didn't want to touch at that time.
Yeah.
But she supported and advocated for those women. She also became involved. At this time, Hawaii was still a territory.
Oh.
So she became
yeah.
involved with the she became involved in the Hawaiian Territorial Legislature.
Okay.
Legislature. That's an American word. That's hard to say.
Yeah. True.
Well, my pause was I wanted to actually read it from the paper and make sure I had it right. But it sounds like the territorial legislature was set up very much like ours, where they had a Congress and a Senate.
Mhm.
So she was a lawyer for the Territory Congress,
Ah.
and then eventually ran for the Territory Congress. And she was elected as the first woman with Japanese ancestry to serve on the Hawaiian Territorial Legislature.
Very
Nice.
nice.
She first served on the Congress and then went on to serve on the Senate. And you can find a lot of great clips of her being very outspoken because this was also around the time that Hawaii was applying for statehood.
Ah.
And she did get pushback about Hawaii becoming a state. There were people that wanted to keep it as a territory,
Oh, yeah.
but she helped fight to make it our 50th state.
Very nice.
Yes. So after she helped fight for Hawaii to become a state, she decided to run for Congress and become the congresswoman from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Her first attempt, she lost,
Gotcha.
which was really devastating for
Aw.
her.
Mhm.
She did take that really hard, but then she ran again the next term she could run,
Mhm.
and in 1965 was elected to Congress, and she's actually the first woman of color to serve in the U.S. Congress.
Oh,
Nice.
sweet.
Yep. So she fought for a lot of social justice and equality while she was there, and probably what she's most known for is co-authoring the Title IX bill,
Yes.
which
Oh.
was just renamed in 2022 as, I don't have that right in front of me, but it was renamed after her. So it's like the
yay.
Patsy Takemoto Mink equal opportunity. I will find it later and read it
Nice.
to you guys. So she fought tirelessly for that bill
Mhm.
and helped get it passed. And then I don't know if you guys know, well, I know you guys all know a bunch of the history of Title IX. But immediately after it passed, it dawned on people what kind of effect that was going to have on male sports.
Mm-hmm.
The valued, coveted male sports. They shouldn't have to share
Oh.
money with girls.
Right.
Mhm.
Girl sports are never going to make any revenue.
Ask women's soccer.
Mm.
So there was immediately a pushback, and there was, what was that called? Whatever douchebag opposed it. It was named after him. Do you know it, Bonnie? You know
Who?
the douchebag's name?
Which
I mean, there were
one?
two
That
of them
opposed
from
Title
Texas
IX?
that were the worst.
Texas?
Oh.
I know the dude from Indiana was actually the dude
Oh.
like leading it.
Here it is.
Yes.
Actually, I
Right.
don't know if it's named after somebody. Well, the dude from Indiana was leading the passing of Title IX,
Yes.
Evan Bayh.
Yes.
But then it was opposed by two senators, or a congressman and a senator from Texas, and they proposed the Casey Amendment,
Oh,
which the
okay.
Casey Amendment specifically would have targeted that equal access to sports and physical education, and would have kept women and men's PE separate, and would have kept it so women didn't have access to all the sports that men had.
Right.
So, because that's the part we got to latch onto and fight for is all sports.
It all sounds very familiar to things going on now.
Mm.
It's the Patsy T. Mink Equal Opportunity and Education Act.
I think I got like 8 of the 10 words.
Yeah. You're pretty close.
Right? Thank you, Bonnie, for finding that. So she has this fabulous bill passed that's going to open doors for women all
Yes.
over the place, and then there's the fight with the Casey Amendment.
Mm.
And I highly recommend, and I know Leah's going to get it in the show notes, there's a little mini documentary on YouTube that's done by Patsy's daughter, Wendy.
Oh, nice.
And I think like the New York Times or something, and it's called Mink, My Mom Fought for Title IX, but it almost didn't happen.
I'll get it in the show notes.
Okay.
Nice.
And it's really a cool recount of Wendy telling the story of that time, a little history on her mom's life. But what happened was, on the day that the Casey bill was being voted for, Wendy was in a very serious car wreck.
Oh, no.
So her mom was on the floor of the house and got a call saying her daughter was rushed to critical care, was in the hospital. And so she had to choose stay and vote or go to her daughter.
Ah!
So she went to her daughter,
Okay.
and the Casey bill passed by lack of one vote,
Oh.
by lack of Patsy's vote.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But thankfully,
Yeah.
I know, right? This is a good story. But thankfully, because of circumstances, they decided to do a recount of the vote. And in the recount, the Casey Amendment lost.
Yay!
And Title IX stood as written.
There you go.
Wow.
So
That's a tough choice.
right, super amazing.
Mhm.
So I think it was 6 terms she served. She served from 1965 to 1977.
Wow.
Gotcha.
And then she took on some leadership roles within the Democratic Party.
Mhm.
She ran for governor and mayor at different elections in Hawaii, but unfortunately lost all of those.
They're hard.
It is. And then in 1990, she decided to return to Congress again.
Oh.
And was voted into Congress. I think it's worth noting that she was the first Asian American to run for a presidency.
Oh.
Nice.
She was actually nominated the same year as Shirley Chisholm.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
And they were both, like up for potentially running for president.
Yes.
They never made it
Yeah.
to like the voting in and getting on the ballot phase. But she went back to this Congress in 1990, and she continued to sponsor bills for gender equality. She co-sponsored the Gender Equality Act of 1993.
Sweet.
She pressed for universal health care.
Nice.
She introduced a bill to protect reproductive decisions as an individual right.
That would have been nice.
Right? Let's see. When the Senate, I liked this.
Yeah.
She opposed the Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
Ah,
When the Senate Judiciary Committee denied Anita Hill the opportunity to give testimony, Mink and other congresswomen, including Barbara Boxer of California, Louise Slaughter of New York, and Pat Schroeder of Colorado, marched the Capitol in protest of the decision.
Aw.
The protest was carried on the front page of the New York Times, and Hill was later allowed to testify.
Yay.
So she definitely fought throughout her entire career for women,
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
and I love that. That was
And
part of the reason I
she's
wanted to share her story.
Getting a quarter.
Right? Right? She's getting her own quarter.
She's gonna be on the money.
all this
She,
work and she only gets a quarter.
right?
She's on the quarter.
So she served another 12 years
Oh
in
wow.
Congress from
Nice.
1990 to 2002, and she only
Wow.
left because she passed away.
Oh.
She
Aw.
actually passed away a week before she was running again
Oh
For
my
the-
gosh.
for Congress, and was in fact, since it was only a week, her name was still on the ballot, and she was voted for despite passing away.
Oh.
So she actually won the election.
Oh my
and was voted in.
goodness.
What do you call
Oh.
that?
Posthumously.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not humorous though, Barb.
It's not huge.
That's a hard word. So, and then I already shared a little bit about how, in recognition of her hard work 50 years after Title IX was passed, it was renamed after her. They also put up a portrait of her in Capitol Hill. You can see a lot of news coverage of when that happened. It was at that same time during that 50-year anniversary, which was just a year ago. So I think she's really at the forefront of a lot of people's notice right now. So I wanted to highlight her, especially since
That's
you'll be seeing
awesome.
her image on the quarter, and make sure all of you out there know who she is. I'm sure many of you know even more than I do about her. But I would encourage
learned
you
a
all
lot.
to dig in more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'm going to ask Leah to add to the show notes, and I don't think I wrote it down, is that her daughter co-authored a book about her life
Very
that
nice.
came out fairly recently. I'm Googling while I talk really slow. And it looks really cool. Okay. It's called Fierce and Fearless, Patsy Takemoto Mink, First Woman of Color in Congress.
Nice. Nice.
Yes, and I think, what is that? It's,
We do not have it in the library.
we got to get that on the list.
Yeah.
I would say I would buy it, but it's like $31.
Oh, yes.
But you can get it for $19.25 on Kindle.
Oh. Kindle's really hard
Why
to
is it
share as
so
a library book. Sweet. Well, we'll put it on our wish
We'll watch
list.
that one. It's probably
Yeah,
'cause it's
absolutely.
nearly 500 pages.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's one of
Well,
those name
well,
dropper ones.
yeah.
'cause
It's not out in
politics.
paper book yet.
Yeah.
I think is a lot of
She
it
did
too.
a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
She did do a lot of
Mhm.
stuff.
She did. Any questions for me about her?
Oh, it's very good. Very good.
Oh, thank you guys. I cannot wait to see her quarter.
That'll be
Yeah.
awesome. Do they
Yes.
have the design yet? I mean, if it's coming out yet this year,
It
you...
should, right? I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen it. That's
I don't
a great
think
I feel like
question,
I've
Barb.
seen that and
Yep, there it is.
Oh.
I'm looking at it almost. It's loading. Oh, she's wearing a lei and she looks amazing.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
it says the equal opportunity in education on it.
I love it. I love it. I love it that
Oh,
they've got
nice.
the lei. I mean, the tie to her home
Mhm.
state.
So you get that Hawaii goodness.
Yeah.
Aww.
Love
so
it.
we're gonna have
Gorge.
I don't
our.
think it looks like her though. But okay.
We got
Okay,
Susan
then.
The
B.
quarter
Anthony
version
dollars,
of her. Yeah.
And
I
then
guess
our
there's only so much you
Sacagawea
can do.
dollars, and then we have our Patsy Mink corners.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if they dropped the Harriet Tubman being on the 20 or not. I feel like they got pushed aside.
I think it got pushed aside. It might still be on the table, but it's not in print yet.
But all the new money is gonna have Janet Yellen on it. So
Yes, it will.
Do you guys want to hear who else is going to be on quarters
I
in
do. I actually do.
2024? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I did look this up. So, of course, Patsy. And then Dr. Mary Edwards Walker, who was a
Nice.
Civil War era
Yeah.
surgeon and women's right advocate and abolitionist. Polly Murray, who was a poet,
Yes.
writer, activist, and lawyer.
Mhm.
Zikala.
Sikala Shah, who I
Yes.
covered.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought that the minute I read that.
Sikala
Yes.
Shah's amazing. Yes.
She's going to be on a quarter. And
Sweet.
Celia Cruz, Cuban-born American singer,
Oh.
cultural icon, and one of the most popular Latin artists of the 20th century, known as the Queen of Salsa.
Oh, I need to
Nice.
learn more about her.
Yeah. And those are the 5 women who will be honored by being on quarters
Sweet.
Very nice.
in 2024. But, really
who
2023.
uses coins?
I'm going to look for them, though.
I
Actually,
will. Yes.
I wrapped $70 worth of quarters
Oh.
at work last week.
Wow.
And I saw some ladies, but I did not see any that I mentioned.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I'll keep my eye out. I almost feel like we need to collect them here.
I know.
Not
exactly.
much for coin collecting, but
They do have those
Nice.
the
trif-
books.
The trifold.
Yeah.
You can buy.
Mhm.
Can you just buy all the coins that you want?
You probably can, yeah.
Yeah.
You probably can.
Mm-hmm.
I
Maybe
mean,
need
when they
to-
did all the estates,
Yeah.
you know,
You could buy
you
those.
would buy the trifold and the kids.
I
liked to collect
remember
them.
when I was a kid
Mhm.
when they started coming out with those. That was like that and the McDonald's Monopoly things were what everybody was
Oh,
collecting.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped doing that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Mm.
Used to be my birthday present every year. They'd always come out in
Monopoly tokens?
October. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I always
Yeah.
got, the Cokes, so if I could get a free
Yeah.
hash brown, that's just
Oh.
Fine
bonus.
living.
There's
Bonus.
a fantastic documentary about the scam that was the Monopoly. Yeah, I recommend it.
Bastards.
That's why you got nothing more
Somebody
than a
ruined
hash
it.
brown.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That's all
yeah.
I wanted in life, though. So.
You were happy.
Yeah, I
You were
wasn't
happy.
collecting all the railroads. I just literally wanted to eat.
Yeah. I mean, free food tastes better.
Right? Immediate gratification. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap us up if y'all are ready to move on.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Okay. Well, that wraps it up for us this week. Join us next week for another cool Woman of History as Gals Guide podcast continues. Thanks for listening.
For show notes, links, and images from this week's show, visit galsguide.org. Want exclusive stuff like deleted bits and major bloopers? Become a Gals Guide patron today. Thanks for listening.